What is going on YouTube? Free Tendies Fantasy for what might be our last underdog draft. I'm not sure. We'll see how we're feeling at the end of the week. Um, 18 minutes ago, no views. Oh man, hold on. Have we been like live streaming that whole time?
Um,
I don't think so. It would have gone live.
no, I didn't get a notification, so we're good.
Okay. Yeah, I'm just making sure. Not
If
that
we
it would
were
have mattered.
streaming, people would have just seen our immaculate grid.
Yeah,
Yeah, I just got the notification. You're good.
yeah. I was more just like laughing about the extemporaneous musings of us on a mic check, which would not be ideal. Okay, we're gonna jump right
What do you?
in.
I think we'd fit in great with a hot mic, dude. It wouldn't
Yeah.
even be an issue.
Oh yeah, dude. Yeah. A hot mic. Um, Yeah, all right, man. Well, how are you? We have to use our indoor voices today. It is still Friday at the office, which means there are several clinical psychologists working behind me. I don't know. There's like noise canceling machines in here. So, like, you're not supposed to be able to hear anything. You know, they do the white noise in the hallway. But I just always worry, like, some dude is expressing his deepest, darkest fear. It's taken months to build up to that moment. And he hears, like, Parker Washington at 55, let's go. Like, it's just not like a good, like, you could disrupt years of work. There could be a crescendo of years of hard work, and it comes crashing down because I'm an idiot that's yelling at my fantasy league. So
Well, I mean,
trying
you may have to
to
be quiet today, but I'm not bound by
no,
those constraints.
no, you can let it go. I'm just letting people know why I'm using the creepy library voice. I'm not trying to do like the whisper into the mic thing. That always weirds me out too when people try to stay nice and
You
you know.
you're fine right now. You did one episode last year that actually actively pissed me off when I
Yeah,
was editing.
yeah. You got to tell me like again, it's not intentional, and I think I can be louder than I am. I'm just trying to be respectful of like, you know, um, the one lady next door. I believe she has like a PsyD or a PhD. She's a very established like clinical psychologist, and like I respect her as a professional because that's what I'm trying to do that stuff with my life, and it takes years and years and years. And I just cannot imagine you put all that into that, and then you turn around and go, "Is this guy really calling out fantasy football picks next to my office?" Like it's just so unacceptable. So that's the only thing.
Oh yeah, it's a very weird situation going live from your dad's office like
Yeah.
every day
Yeah, it
to
is.
stream.
It is pretty weird. It is pretty weird. I mean, I'm technically I'm signing on as an unpaid co-leasee or co-leaser. Um, so I'll have my own keys. It's technically partially my office. I'm just not paying for it, which is not ideal. Anyway, how are you, buddy? What are you up to?
Friday, obviously that's pretty good. I opened 5 booster bundles of Pitch Black today and didn't get
Oh,
diddly shit.
oh no, you
That was
didn't.
annoying.
You went for it.
Nobody, dude, that's like MSRP. Like I could just buy
Oh,
5 more
yeah,
right now for MSRP. It doesn't
yeah,
matter.
yeah. I don't care at all that you did. I'm just saying you went
I
for it.
I just wanted to live a little. I will say this though. I woke up at 6 o'clock this morning to drive my ass to Target
Mm-hmm.
to see because they did the Ascended Heroes tin release today.
Mm-hmm.
I really wanted those, but unfortunately, by 6 o'clock in the morning, which is when I rolled up, there was a line of 30 people there already, many of which were sleeping in their lawn chairs.
Yeah, man.
So I just had to drive right on back home.
That's it, dude. You could get a job. You could get a job working the Jack in the Box overnight drive-through. You could make in an 8-hour shift $175 in the Bay Area. That's like what Jack in the Box pays like $22 an hour. So if
I
you
think those guys are, well, it's not even a money thing. I think those guys are sitting there trying to rip the cards, like, is what I think they're doing.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is like, so let's say that they're sitting there for 8 hours overnight anyway. Like you're already sitting there like a jackass overnight. You could get a job at Jack in the Box, get $175 and buy the car. You could buy a booster box with $175 or whatever you want. Like you, even if they're $15 packs, you could go get 20 packs on the
Well,
open
there,
market.
I mean, the issue is
I
Ascended
know.
Heroes is so hard to find,
Yeah,
right? Like
yeah.
you're and there are no booster boxes for it. And my guess is these people are employed and they're just sitting there like because they
It's like
hate GameStop
recreational.
or
Yeah, or,
whatever, right?
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. Or it's like recreational. It's like a little club they go along to.
yeah. Like to them, it's like a big win
No.
to get. Oh, I got this at retail price,
Yeah,
right? Like I didn't help the scalpers.
yeah,
Meanwhile, they're literally sleeping. They're like homeless people.
yeah. And
Anyways, enough about cards.
yeah,
Do you want to talk about the Do you want to talk about the guy who was running the Tinder scam as the 49ers player?
Oh my god, dude, it is the greatest thing ever. That is the greatest story ever. You know what so I'm curious about how the scam works. How do you go from like I'm a famous athlete and I signed with the 49ers. He was like, saying I know Tyreek Hill. I signed with the 49ers because they offered me the most money. How do you round the corner from that to like and I need you to give me some money? That's what I'm curious about. Like I want to know the details of the scam.
Well, so it sounds like to me, and they did release some details on it, is that he would rope these women in into thinking they were in like a romantic relationship. And then he would be like, yeah, so I got my financial advisor like putting away money for me. There's a really good investment. Like if you want to get in, right? And apparently, like if these women would ask questions, he would just like block them. He'd just do the block and move on.
You know what it probably was too is they were like so embarrassed by getting taken advantage of like that that they never, um, they never reported him.
Dude,
Okay.
it's so funny to me because I was looking at like the clips of him like running routes on the beach in the Niners helmet. Like
Yeah.
dude's built like a broomstick.
Yeah.
Like if that guy ran routes in front of me, I'm a ball knower enough to know that's not a real NFL player. Okay.
Yeah. 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 It's also just funny that like, oh man, we'll do Brock Bowers here. I really don't like Brock Bowers at cost, but
I
we'll do
love
him
you
here.
getting your Brock Bowers hacks, and I've seen that click a lot lately, and I like it.
No, it's yeah. I mean, I actually think I'll be honest. This is one where us drafting together, you made a very good point to me, because I am worried that I think what is going to end up happening, and we may see it this weekend when I'm picking in the free Tendies leagues. If I am picking from 3 to 5, I think it is almost certain that all the running backs are going to be off the board, besides maybe Ashton Genty and Kenneth Walker, who like I don't feel great about anyway. So I'm trying to conceptualize, right, like what happens when we come around to this turn and I'm sitting there staring, because I really preferred like Nico Collins, George Pickens, Drake London to Brock Bowers like in a vacuum. But you made a very good point about this. If you take Brock Bowers and 2 wide receivers, then you can still pick at the wider. Like I could still take 2 wide receivers over the 4-5 turn and the 5-6 turn, and I'm not way overloaded at a position. Ooh, okay. I still don't feel great about the Rashee Rice health situation, but I'm going to keep betting on him. I would just like to see a report that he's got no restrictions and he's good to go. But the practice reports have looked good. He's caught a lot of touchdowns the last few days, so it seems like his red zone work is alive and well this year. Um, we still ultimately, with Rashee Rice and the Chiefs, this was the big debate about when people were splitting between Worthy and Rice last year. For me, it was just always like Rice. Because what we want in the Andy Reid offense is the horizontal role, the horizontal middle of the field attacker. That's what Travis Kelce was for years. That's what Rice was for years. Ultimately, I still think it will be Rice this year, despite all the conversation about rookies and Worthy coming back and whatever else. Anyway, so but what you said, I want to make sure you get credit for this, because if I end up doing this in the draft, it is actually because of you putting the idea in my head. If you start off with Bowers and 2 wide receivers, I can still take a wide receiver each at the next 2 turns, or go like running back at the 4 or 5, and then go wide receiver at the 6 7. And I don't feel like my roster like wasn't able to take advantage of the wide receiver depth in the middle, and that's because of the Bowers pick. Where like even though I prefer Pickens and I prefer Collins and I probably prefer Olave and London, like I, you know, this structurally is a lot more sound when you get into the middle rounds, and I think that is certainly something you've influenced me on.
Well, if you feel bad about taking Bowers and you just plug your nose and do it, I think you'll be pretty happy with the result. I'm in on Brock Bowers this
Yeah,
year, but I'm in on Brock Bowers every year. I'm a slappy for that man.
yeah,
That balding 23-year-old or however old he is, way too young to be losing his hair.
yeah. I mean, normally that's like could be an indication that you abuse steroids. I don't know if he did personally. I think he probably just has like those farm boy genetics. He's supposed to be throwing bales of hay on a pickup truck somewhere, wearing overalls.
Dude, the Malik Neighbors pull up to 2-2. I don't know about that one, Chief.
I am I am so uncomfortable with the general direction of the Giants news. The only Giant that I feel great about right now is probably Isaiah Likely, because it just sounds like he's going to have a good role and he's a late tight end. Like, I would feel fine with that big. I'm just very nervous about the Giants news in general this offseason. I think it's all very nerve wracking. Two major
Dude,
injuries.
they just like released like something about like the targets that the Giants have like gained in practice or
Yeah.
whatever, like over the past couple weeks. Isaiah Likely has over 2x the targets of any other player,
Yeah.
and his receiving total in the underdog pick'em lobby, like, and again, this is just like prediction markets, right? But we kind of operate under the assumption maybe they know something
Yeah.
in
Yeah.
Vegas in money making industries that we don't.
Yeah.
He's at like 700 yards over under. So I feel like Isaiah Likely is going to be a very popular target.
Probably, dude. See, this is what feels bad for me, and I know that you and I view Colston Loveland very differently, but like Colston Loveland 20 picks back, I would just rather take Colston
Jacobs,
Loveland.
Jacobs.
I'm gonna see if he comes around to me. I'm actually gonna do a Bucky Irving and see if
Well,
Jacobs
I
comes around.
I can confirm that you are not getting any discount whatsoever in Yahoo lobbies. Yahoo lobbies have not moved at all on Josh Jacobs. It's the same place.
Yeah, but let's see how people act when the chips are down, dude. Those, I think people. So there goes Jacobs. Okay, so I mean, but see, to me, like my problem with that is one, you and I have been loading up there pretty aggressively this year at that cost. So like, I have plenty of Jacobs at that range, but my problem with taking him there in the early 40s is that is basically just paying the price that we've been paying all summer for him. That's no discount whatsoever for the 4 to 6 game suspension. And I know that's already been factored in like a little bit, right? Because we're already sort of paying a suspension discount, but I'd like to get a little bit more of a discount there.
Well, I mean, it depends on where you have him, right? I
We'll
think that
do.
Josh Jacobs is a better fantasy pick than all of those third round guys, the Kyrans, the Brees Halls, the Javonte Williams, right? So like
Yeah,
I kind of had a third round price tag on him.
yeah,
Like even early third round I was cool with, right? So like comparatively I viewed anywhere in the fourth as a discount anyways. Right?
yeah,
Like yes, in terms of ADP and what the market is doing, it's not a discount because the market is just kind of taking him in the fourth. But if you thought
yeah.
it was mispriced to begin with, right? And now apparently, I tried to lead you to the Drew Davenport article yesterday while you were
Oh yeah,
streaming,
yeah,
but
yeah,
basically what he said is he thinks that it's more likely now that Josh Jacobs does not get suspended now that we have concrete. Hey, these are just misdemeanor charges. Like it seems very likely, and the precedent that the NFL has set is that with these like more minor crimes, they are more willing to like wait out the
yeah,
process, right? So
yep,
the trial is in November. That's when he's scheduled to have his trial, right? And I think that the Packers, like, how old is Josh Jacobs now? Like 29, right?
yeah.
Like I
Late
think
20s.
he's got a lot of tread on the tires, anyways. It behooves them to kick that to next year, right? Because then maybe they can actually draft another running back, get someone else in there. Because I don't think I know people are excited about Marshawn Lloyd, and I loaded up on Marshawn Lloyd, but that player has been injured and just has not played a single snap the first 2 seasons that he's been in the NFL.
Yeah,
And nothing about that player makes me think, oh, yeah, he can just be a bell cow. Right. So they need Josh Jacobs. And what I think, and what I was trying to say yesterday in the Discord, I don't know if this came off correctly or not, but I think that if the NFL wants to suspend Josh Jacobs, right, I think the Packers would be moving very quickly to get a suspension just declared and done with because he's technically banged up right now, right? What is better for your team? Hey, if you're going to suspend me, do it now at the beginning of the season where Josh Jacobs can effectively take that time to recover from his injury, right? Like it behooves the Packers much more if they're going to get a suspension to just eat it at the beginning of the year and not like have something happen where he goes to trial in November and then he misses, say, 4 weeks near the end of the year, right? So that's kind of where I was going with that. Like, so I feel like every day that passes now that he doesn't get suspended, we're just more and more likely he just doesn't miss time, regardless of the morality or what people think. Twitter is there's a lot of Packers fans that are not very happy right now. They are not pleased. A lot of Packers fans want them to just cut Josh Jacobs and do the right thing. I hate to break it to you guys, but the NFL does not care about doing the right thing. They care about winning football games.
no, yeah, no, they certainly don't.
Performance-based industry.
Yep, yeah. No, so I mean, he could still be put on the commissioner's exempt list, which is basically their way of saying we're waiting for things to play out to see what it looks like. And commissioner's exempt list is just like hitting the pause button on his playing this year. That's just like we'll get to it when we get to it. We're not sure. And that to me is more the worst case scenario that could occur here. And I do think that's like possible. I don't know if at that point he would consent to having the video release, because it's his home security system. He could just give the video to the NFL. Like if they said we're gonna suspend you, I would assume that he would just give them the video at that point, right? So to me, that's more my concern. It feels to me like it's going to be 4 to 6 games. Von Miller did something similar. He got 4 games. Ray Rice obviously got banned, right? But that's a whole different thing. The DV base is 6 games. I think it's going to be 4 to 6 games, but it should at least be pointed out that there is the possibility that they put him on the commissioner's exempt and then he's just not in the player pool until.
If I
until
had
it
to
gets
guess
worked
right
out.
now, I think it's less than a 50% chance he even gets suspended this year.
Yeah.
And I think the most likely thing is if he gets suspended, it's next year. It's next season. Because I think the Packers will do whatever they can if they're not eating it immediately to push that thing off, right? Like, say, for example, the NFL tries to suspend Josh Jacobs like after he has his court date, which is in November, right? He can appeal that. He can appeal that and push that out.
Yeah.
And we've seen that before with like Rashee Rice, right? Remember when Rashee Rice should have gotten suspended or was going to get suspended and it took him like an entire year to get through it? Like, that's what I think the most likely outcome is.
Mm-hmm.
But we are drafting with uncertainty this weekend. So I feel for managers that have to draft right now not knowing.
Yeah, so that is my issue, is like for this draft. I do sort of like the idea that if you're going to be really brave, you could get really well rewarded. I'm just not. I don't know. We'll see, dude. What I'm hoping for is I don't have to make the decision about Josh Jacobs. I'm hoping he's just not on my radar, because but so that now there's the possibility that like our little running back start from the back of the last 4 picks, is someone going to come away with James Cook, Saquon Barkley, and Josh Jacobs as their first 3 picks, like, because that could happen if he doesn't get suspended. Like it might be curtains on some of these leagues that were brave enough to draft Josh. So it's a huge unknown. We're all working with the same information. I'm just nervous because I don't like a huge X factor like that just floating out in the world, unresolved.
Well, I feel like you haven't been drafting any of your suspended guys. Like every year we go into a season, you want to take suspended guys or guys that are injured. Might be back in week 8, so you might as well just do that this year and have Jacobs be your guy. Because I'll actually ride into battle with you on that one.
Yeah. I mean, so the last 2 guys that I was really aggressively in on because of the time missed. Now, not the injuries. Suspensions I'm much more bullish about because it's not the same thing as like trying to figure out, cool, we get a late Justin Herbert stack with QJ. It's not quite the same as trying to figure out, let's do a Chuba or a JCM here. Let's see who comes back to us. Kenny Gainwell, if not. Like suspensions I'm comfortable being much more bullish on because it's not really like the concern about how does his body look the same. And the last 2 guys that I drafted really heavily were DeAndre Hopkins in round 7, that year that he got the steroid suspension. Then he came back and like was wide receiver 4 in half PPR or something like that with Kyler after that. That was so worth it. And then Rashee Rice, wide receiver 2 from his suspension. So I think it's like actually good practice, like a good practice in your fantasy drafting to aggressively go after these guys. Okay, are we doing that? Are we doing more Chuba Hubbard in the pile? I didn't take any earlier this year, so I feel like I should be loading up when he's 40 picks cheaper than he was when I was avoiding him. Okay.
Well, you know what I would say about that pick? Obviously, I like it, but there's one other running back I would have preferred you take.
He's not on the board.
Dobbins already went?
Yeah, already went.
The ball knowers are coming in, pushing him up.
Maybe it's typically what it is the August guys are more casual, but yes, he is pushing up.
Let me tell you, I was so happy. I watched a little Domain Fantasy, came across my recommended videos today on the old smart TV on my lunch break, and I was watching them rip into Jonah Coleman as one of their hate picks.
Oh no, how am I going to recover? Domain.
Well, I mean, if we're talking like the content creators that are in the Flock League, I feel like Domain's one of the more respectable ones.
Well, I don't like them as a collective. Like I don't like most of their stuff, but Avery's good. Avery's very good. I think his team could win this year. He did a great job.
I'm starting to get more and more out on Mason as a fantasy mind.
As a fantasy mind.
I'm not sure I agree with a lot of the shit that he says.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really like, to me, I don't really I don't really watch content creators and wonder like, do I agree with their specific takes? It's more like, do I like their process of processing fantasy? There are some people I really like. There are some people I don't. Even if they reach the wrong like Hayden Winks, I would say like I have more respect for his process than maybe anyone in the whole industry. But this year in particular, he's like reached a lot of conclusions that I think are ridiculous, and I don't agree with at all. But like that's okay. You still respect him as a fantasy mind. It's I just can't follow him into battle on some of this stuff, you know.
Yeah, I agree. He's one of the guys that I've said like uses data in one of the best ways and the most
Yeah.
applicable ways in the fantasy industry. I feel like a lot of people in this game kind of blindly point to data points and they take things out of context and they kind of twist things to fit whatever they want it to say,
Yep.
right? And I think Hayden does a pretty good job at picking out data points and showing graphics that are actually relevant to what is being said.
Yep. Yeah, he's very good, dude. But like again, he's come to a lot of conclusions I don't agree with this year, and that's completely
Big Ken Walker
acceptable.
Bull, massive Ken Walker Bull.
Yeah, he hates James Cook, hates O'Marion Hampton. He thinks they both should be like second round picks to low end second round picks. Um, who I mean he's out on a bunch of guys that I'm super in on. But again, that's fine. To me, what frustrates me about evaluating fantasy analysts is I would love to have access to like how are these guys performing as the year unfolds. Okay, so I started off Jamar Chase, Rasheed Rice, Quentin Johnson. I like Casey Concepcion too much. Kenny Gainwell's really tempting there as a Baker Mayfield stack, but oh no, I have Bucky. I'm so not used to taking Bucky, so we will take Gainwell out of there, and we'll do a Mayfield. I just want a good second quarterback, and Mayfield does at least correlate with Bucky, and he's easy to backstack.
Sounds like Jacoby Myers will be ready for week 1, by the way.
Yeah, he's fine. Based on what they said, he sounds fine.
Like jammed his hand or something. There was some worry that it was like
Yeah.
a broken hand, but it seems like that is not the case.
Yep. Okay, there's the start. Baker Mayfield, Justin Herbert, Bucky, David Montgomery, Chuba Hubbard, Jamar Chase, Rasheed Rice, Quentin Johnston, and Jaden Reed, Casey Concepcion, Brock Bowers. Not going to be a super stacked up roster, I don't think. Kind of missed the boat on the Burrow Chase stack, missed the boat on the Mahomes Rice stack, and Jordan Love went earlier than usual. So, kind of the short end of the stick on some of those late.
Oh, you still got the you've got the Tug Casey Concepcion stack alive.
If I was going to stack Browns, I would be doing Shador just because I think he's more likely to be playing at the end of the year.
Yes,
than,
yes,
than
that is
Watson.
the smarter pick.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. It's not the funnier pick, but I think it's the smarter one.
That's just like one of those things where I think Shador is probably still worse than Deshaun Watson, but the noise that the fans are making, they're not gonna. I think they're gonna be listening to the fans there, and you know what they say about the fans, right? If you start listening to them, you're gonna be sitting with them soon.
Yeah.
So best of luck to Tom Bonkin there. This is an impossible situation. It feels like to me.
Yeah, and it sucks because Monken waited a long time to be a head coach, and is like a respected dude. I feel very bad that he has to deal with this shit, but he does. God, is Gainwell still on the board? That's pretty cool. I would take him if he comes back. I don't know if he is. I do really respect Monken a lot. I don't know, dude. To me, the whole extent of my Browns' interest this year is I want their short yardage design play guy. They've already confirmed he's getting the Zay Flowers role from Baltimore last year for KCC. That's what I want. That's the only thing I'm interested in the Browns. I'm not even interested in Fannin anymore. I don't want to deal with it. I'm not going to take Boston. I'm not going to take Judkins ever for any reason. I'm never taking Judkins.
I think Fannin is fine in these types of rooms. I've seen Fannin going in the 7th round in like Yahoo, which
No.
Get out of here. I'm not paying that. But like when he goes in the 9th, 10th round in these rooms, I'm fine with it.
Yeah, this is different. I'm talking
Conception, I don't. I feel like that guy is getting steamed up for no apparent reason. Like I mean, maybe it sounds like, at least from the beat reports, he is doing better than Denzel Boston.
Yeah.
But I just feel like I'm out on the entire Browns passing game business for the most part if I can avoid it.
Yeah, I don't think that's a bad business to be out of. I KCC's a target for me. It's not like one. I wouldn't say I'm excited about it. I would say I'm a little bit nervous about it. But he's gonna be someone who I'm like reaching on this year. Okay, another Jonah Coleman share. Adam to Bucky, David Montgomery, Chuba Hubbard. Hopefully, I have enough volume from these guys to float it until something goes down with me and Danny Ladd's guy.
Yeah, man. Schefter actually released a report on some of the guys that he likes in fantasy this year, and Jonah Coleman made his list, and his analysis was some people have compared him to Maurice Jones-Drew.
Yeah, if that's why you're drafting him, you shouldn't be playing fantasy.
I don't know, dude. The Instagram comment from teammates narrative is pretty strong.
Yeah, yeah. If that's your reason, you're not gonna be very good at this. Keep adding Trey Tucker, thinking I was pretty excited seeing him get some of that JSN backfield work from Kubiak. They lined him up as a running back. They motioned him out. They had him getting on linebackers to do like out of the backfield stuff. I think that's pretty exciting. I still think Naylor outscores him this year, but in best ball, I think we're going to get some spiky weeks out of Trey Tucker. Kind of wish I had been taking more of him this year. Especially if he's getting like design stuff like that from Kubiak, who I trust to design stuff maybe more than any, like, as much as any play caller in the league. He did such a good job with JSN last year.
How
So
late are you gonna let Fernando Mendoza go?
yeah, we'll see. They're talking about him opening up the year as QB3 on the depth chart. That's pretty rough. So I could see if I can get him down to 190.
Who is saying that?
I believe that was from the Raiders. I think they asked Kubiak about that, and he said it's up in the air if it's. No, I did not check this one. I can't actually check it. Believe Kubiak said it's up in the air if it is. What's his name? Who's Farva? The guy who looks like the guy
Aiden
from
O'Connell.
Dukes of
Aiden
Hazzard.
O'Connell.
Yeah, Aiden O'Connell. He said it's up in the air if it's him or Aiden O'Connell for QB3. I believe that is from the horse's mouth, but let me see. Check my beat report
Like,
bot.
It's pretty set in stone that it will be Kirk week 1.
Yeah.
That's just what's happening. It's Kirk Cousins week 1.
Yeah. Yep.
I'd be shocked if he was QB3. I mean, that's the Raiders' prerogative, though. If they want to just give him a developmental year, my fantasy bags would be tarnished.
Yep.
I would be in shambles if he doesn't play this year.
I don't know, dude. Let me see. I'm asking what it's.
Raiders fans seem to be melting down about that scenario. They called him a Cuban Jimmy Garoppolo.
Yes, that was so
the other
funny.
day.
So he was specifically asked if Kirk Cousins is the starter and gets hurt, would O'Connell or Mendoza go in the game? Kubiak answered, quote, "We've got 3 guys that are ready to play. It's going to be some hard decisions on who's 1 and who's 2. That's not a decision we have to make today, but those are discussions that are ongoing." He followed it up by saying there's no official QB2 yet. What makes the hold on. Hold on, just a little more context. I don't know. I did not go and check this. I don't have an opinion on it. What makes the answer noteworthy is the context. Earlier in camp, Mendoza had essentially been operating as the QB2, both on the depth chart and in reps and practice behind Cousins. Kubiak could have easily reaffirmed the hierarchy today because it's been that way all summer. Instead, he gave the opportunity to say the QB2 is now up in the air. So it depends how much you think that is because of Mendoza didn't exactly force their hand in the preseason. He finished 25 of 45 for 240 yards, 1 TD, 2 interceptions, and last night went 7 of 14 for 57 yards with a pick. So I don't know.
He said QB1 and QB2. He said QB1. He didn't say QB2 and QB3. He said QB1 and QB2.
Yeah, he said the QB2 spot is basically open-ended, was what he said right now.
Well, so, but based on what you just read, it sounds like he's read. Trying to be ambiguous about the starter.
Yeah,
not QB2 and QB3.
No. I guess technically he said that was the direct quote. Yeah, he said we don't know who's the 1 and who's the 2 right now. That's what he said.
We know who the 1 is.
Yeah,
it's Kirk. Kirk is the 1. I would assume that means that Mendoza is the 2, but Mendoza's had a nice offseason. Regardless of preseason interceptions, I think that people take that too seriously, right? I'd be shocked if they drafted the number 1 overall pick and just slid him at QB3. It's possible, though, if they want to go straight developmental.
We'll go Tyrone Tracy there this late. He's either getting traded or he's going to be their running back too, in my opinion, this year. I'll take him 45 picks behind where he's been going all summer. Will it bite me in the ass? Maybe. Maybe. Yeah, so I don't necessarily have like a big opinion on that. I just thought it was a little weird to me. I kind of was expecting him to be like, yes, Mendoza is our QB2 because he had been like operating as their QB2 most of this summer. We'll go Ryan Flournoy here. Malik Washington's getting some really good ink from practice, saying he's their move guy in the formation. Remember, Bobby Slowick played under or coached under McDaniel, and Bobby Slowick is a like McShanahan tree guy. You want the pre-snap motion guy in the McShanahan scheme, and it sounds like Malik Washington has locked up the pre-snap motion role for the Dolphins. Is that relevant for redraft? Almost certainly not. Am I glad that I took a ton of Malik Washington at like round 18 this summer and I chased him up a little bit? I left him alone when he jumped like 30 spots, but I am glad actually to have a good Malik Washington position this year. He's probably still my favorite receiver there to own because he's the short yardage, like designed pre-snap motion guy. And if we have concerns about like what Malik Willis is or is not or what he can or cannot be, like the downfield passing to me is the major concern, even though he's actually not terrible at it. I like the idea of some design work for Malik. I don't think there's going to be a hit here at all, to be honest with you.
It's going to be a rotation.
Yeah, it's just like that's the claim that I staked. I still think you should be taking shots in the 170 to 220 range on who you think could be the leading receiver there.
I think you throw a dart there. That's fine.
Yeah.
I was watching Steve Smith cover this wide receiver room the other day.
Yeah.
And did you know every single wide receiver on that roster is signed to the exact same 1-year deal? They're all signed to the same 1-year deal, making the exact same money.
That's funny.
And they were rotating them and have been continuing to rotate them. So what Steve Smith was saying, he's like, yeah, man, like I don't think any one of these guys is like the guy. And now obviously they traded Tutu Atwell. So he's out. So it's like, and Chris Bell is back. So it's Chris Bell, Malik Washington, Caleb Douglas, Jalen Tolbert, and insert fifth guy.
Yeah, Chris Bell was a really impressive prospect. He had the ACL tear. I think that's going to be who a lot of people really key on to. It's a great ad, by the way. He's going to be absolutely free in drafts. If he opens up the year on PUP or on the IR, I would throw him on your IR if it's not otherwise used. That's a great person just to stash and let it go. It seems like he's trending toward being active in week 1. Might not have the chance to do so, but it's worth monitoring that. Just because he's a guy that some people thought was a first round talent. Again, you're talking about your free IR spot. Just cut him like if and when it doesn't work out. It doesn't need to be some big thing you're committed to.
And RIP to the Jarquiz Hunters taking over the Rams backfield narrative.
Oh, there goes Fernando Mendoza, 2 picks before me. Good work, sir. You earned that. You earned that, Mendoza. Enjoy it. Take good care of him. He is yours now. I'm going to pull, I think, Jalen Noel. They said today that they don't plan to use Kayshon Boutte as a full-time starter yet. They said he might be, but they don't that wasn't the initial plan. I think the door is pretty open to it being Noel. He had some really good flashes last year. I don't think he's just going to lock it up, but I think there's like a chance. Again, at this price range, I want to find out, right? All right. DFS guy is in the chat. Let's see what DFS guy's up to. CJ Stroud versus the Bills or Bryce Young versus the Bears week 1. Bryce Young versus the Bears for sure for me. There.
Oh, man. Yeah, Bryce Young versus the Bears. I don't think Bryce Young is a better quarterback, but
no.
The Bills are designed to stifle the passing game.
Yep, that's an easy one for me. And you get and like I don't think it's likely with how good the Texans' defense and run game is, but say the Texans start trailing and you have CJ having to air it out, you would think like a lot of pass attempts that's good. I don't know if that's great for CJ Stroud. No, dude, if you want a sneaky start there, I like the Bryce Young versus the Bears. I was actually looking at I was just looking at the slate. So I'm trying to get my lineup set for DraftKings as well. I was thinking of a Garrett Wilson Smith against the Titans. The Titans' pass defense looked rough, dude. You had like Dejon Stribling out there brutalizing their starters, like in the first preseason game. I think Geno Smith, Garrett Wilson roster is a pretty good sneaky one, and you could backstack against it, with like I don't know, you could get a really cheap backstack in there. Probably Wandale. I still think Wandale's a good start that week, so you could do like a Wandale, Steve Smith, Garrett Wilson. If you want to go cheap, I maybe like that a little bit more than Bryce Young at the Bears, but Bryce Young at the Bears is pretty good. I'm okay with that if you're going to go on the cheap. I'm still rocking
the Bears might hang 60 on him. The Bears are gonna get up big in that game. I think the Panthers are gonna have to drop back and pass.
Yeah, I still like dude. I'm just going. So I'm such a basic like bitch. It probably disgusts you. I'm just going with the Olave Shuck stack. That's one I like, and I'm throwing a lion on the other side of it. I know everyone's gonna have that game. I'm not gonna win $1 million. I'm so lame with DFS. I just get excited when I double my money. Whenever I double my money, I look at it and go, "That's right, man. I'm gonna double my money."
Without looking at any of the prices at all, I'm just gonna look at week 1, who I think could be sneaky good. Yeah, I hate these all. Never mind. Yeah. I recuse myself.
Nope. News broke today that Seth McGowan is basically entrenched as the backup to Jonathan Taylor. We forget that Jonathan Taylor went at the 2-3 turn last year because of his ankle injuries, his chronic ankle injuries. That was enough for the fantasy community to fade him like 15 picks, 20 picks from where he is right now. If that's the case, it seems like we should probably be interested in some, like, in your redraft leagues, round 13, Seth McGowan, in these leagues, round 18, Seth McGowan. Seems like that should be a pick that people are more readily making than they were earlier this year, because it sounds clear to me. They seem to love him, too, as a pass catcher. So, like, does he have a standalone role? I don't think so. But, it's interesting. Seth McGowan's one that I kind of regret not paying more attention. That was just a matter of like reading practice reports and paying attention, and I think that one kind of slipped through my hands. Do you think Monangai is going to play? Sorry, go ahead. Go ahead. I'll read it after.
Do you think Monangai is going to play? I have to look at the injury report.
I don't think so with a hyperextended knee, because you can risk other structures, but the hyperextended knee is a very general term. That's a very open-ended, like, thing.
I got a metric ton of Monangai in the portfolio. I can just look up what the most recent report says.
I didn't scroll through the team. Let's pull it up and take a look at it before we're done here. Okay, Justin Herbert, Baker Mayfield, Bucky, David Montgomery, Chuba Hubbard, Jonah Coleman, Tyron Tracy, Seth McGowan, Jamar Chase, Rashee Rice, Quentin Johnston, Jaden Reed, Casey Concepcion, Trey Tucker, Flournoy, Jalen Knoll, Bowers, Dulcich. I personally would be surprised if he plays if he doesn't practice that week. If they get him back that week and he practices, like gets 3 or 4 limiteds in, I would assume he's going. That's how I would play it.
Yeah, so this injury came... Like, it happened a couple of weeks ago, right? So we're already, like, 2 weeks into Monangai being hurt, and the last Ben Johnson report was 10 days ago.
Yeah.
Or at least it's showing on Underdog, and it said he was week to week. So
yeah.
I think he's questionable to play week 1, and even if he does play week 1, it's not going to be, like, the Monangai-Swift split we were seeing at the end of last year. So if you're thinking of DFSing him, I would not do that.
Well, no, what he's wondering is Swift a jam this week? And I would say Swift is a jam week 1, yeah.
Yeah.
Like Swift could go, to the moon week 1. So I actually might look at that one a little. We'll see. I'm going to make some more. I have 2 of them I'm pretty happy with. I'm going to leave it alone. I had to pull Genty out. I had Genty in a bunch of them because they play the Dolphins, right? I am not going to roll Genty this week. I may roll Mike Washington. Might be interesting. If you think Genty doesn't play, or even if he does play and you think he plays more, I think Mike Washington, let's see what his price is. I'm going to guess he's like $4,000 on UD. Let's see. He might even be less, dude. So, Mike Washington Jr. is $4,600. That's probably one I'm going to keep an eye on, because I don't know why on God's green earth you would rush Genty out there if he wasn't 100%. You're not really worried about winning the playoff game this year. You're not even worried about making the playoffs this year. It seems like Washington's an adequate backup. So that could be a sneaky good play. I still like Wandale Robinson at 5,100. I think that's a very good price. I still do believe that is the Titans' lead receiver. I think he's. It'll be a while before the market adjusts to it, and then DK's full PPR. But yeah, we'll see. I need to maybe move some around. I mean, I like Devonta Smith at Washington's one of my favorite starts too.
I'm gonna have to push back and say that Wandale Robinson is not. Maybe he has the most catches on the
Mm-hmm.
team. I think the Carnell Tate fade is getting a little too much for me now.
Mm-hmm.
I've been drafting Carnell Tate in the 8th round on
Yeah,
Yahoo.
that's
Like Stribling is going over him now.
no, that's silly. I don't agree with that at all. I think in full PPR, I do think Wandale outscores him pretty comfortably this year. I don't in half PPR. It's a little different, right? Because if he catches a touchdown, that's like the equivalent of 12 receptions. So even if he catches 100 balls this year, it only takes like 3 or 4 touchdowns from Carnell Tate more to offset the whole reception edge. So I don't know. It's hard to say.
I mean,
I think Wandale outscores him.
Yeah, no, I'm super against that. In practice yesterday, I know it's just practice, joint practice, and
Yeah.
I've said that doesn't matter many times. Carnell Tate in joint practice with the Bears, 12 targets, 7 catches, 2 touchdowns.
Yeah,
I think that
because Wandale went down. Wandale went down yesterday.
that is one way you could say that. You could say, yep, Wandale's down, so we have to throw it to our second option, Carnell Tate, and the other one is Robert Saleh realizing that they are not getting him the ball enough because they haven't gotten him to him in preseason, and he's spoken specifically about that point to Carnell Tate. But yeah, maybe Wandale going down was just exactly what Carnell Tate needed.
Yeah, he had I think he had a 20 or 30 target lead through like a couple weeks of the joint work, and then he went down and Tate went off. I think Tate's a pretty good player, dude. I'm not really that like it to me it's just a what do I think
It's an offensive ecosystem thing.
Yeah, well, it's like, yeah, what do I think Cam Ward's skill set is going to jive with the best, which is a different question than like, it's not the same thing as like who's the better player, who's the better talent. It's not close. But if they really do have a problem where Cam Ward cannot process and get the ball downfield effectively, where he holds the ball too long, he has like a crazy fumble rate. He's really jarred by pressure. The O line is not. It's the worst O line in the sport by most projector. I was gonna say projectionist again. By most projectors, if it's really like that rough of a situation, yeah, I think they're gonna do a lot of easy button stuff to Wandale. And Wandale Robinson has done this for Brian Daboll through college, from college to the Giants, and then they went and got him at the Titans. The last 2 years, he is one of like 4 players to hit 280 combined targets. I take a lot of Marion Hampton and James Cook. That is my favorite combo here. We'll go Derrick Henry today because they both have the week 7 bye. I don't like stacking the bye on here. That's not ideal. But so he's now done this for Daboll for God, how many years, right? And I think people maybe overestimate or underestimate a little bit just how hard it is to command almost 300 targets over 2 seasons. The list of NFL players that have done that is very, very short, very, very short. And he's a top 20 wide receiver from last year that you can pay wide receiver 50 prices for. I think all of that makes him a pretty comfy buy for me. I still will take Carnell Tate though at the 6-7 turn. That's it's a fair price, right?
Yeah, dude, he's getting way down there, and
Yeah.
then like about where you're taking Wandale Robinson, at least in the mocks in Yahoo, is like round 9 or 10 or 11,
Mm-hmm.
which is like quarterback zone for me.
Mm-hmm.
So like a lot of times, like I'm getting my Mahomes or Stafford or Goff in the boat, and then passing up on Wandale.
Mm-hmm. Hey man, I'm not trying to sell anyone on it. I'm just, for me, he's a big one. I prefer KCC. I probably prefer Wandale to Golden, but it's very close. It's those 3 though are like this. Usually they're in round like late round 9, early round 10. Yeah.
I think Wandale's hitting a single. Like I think that down
Maybe.
there, right? Like I don't see a fantasy. I don't see what does Ryan Heath call it? The power or something.
Power law players. Well, yeah, you're not
I
getting out. You're not
I
getting
don't
out.
see
Yeah.
any world
Yeah.
that
No.
Wandale Robinson is a power law player.
No.
Matthew Golden could be a power law player though.
There's only
I think.
6 to 10 power law players per year in the NFL. It's certainly not. Wandale is certainly not one of them. No. Yeah, that no. Interesting. Yeah, interesting. I've actually been watching that content on there. There's almost never been an instance in the history of their power law tracking that a quarterback or a tight end has been a power law player. I thought that was really interesting. Almost never.
I
Almost
don't
never.
know
Wins above
if Trey
replacement.
McBride does not
He was.
show up.
He was.
Okay.
He was.
I was gonna
okay.
say.
So
I was
will
gonna say
take-
if Trey McBride is not there from last year, then I don't know how worth a damn that is. But
I will take Trey McBride here. By the way, I was gonna take Brees Hall, but I don't really. It's funny you just said his name, and I think it got me to click on him. I don't normally do that, but that's okay. We're gonna do Trey McBride here. Very rare click for me. No. It's just about how often they represent meaningful wins above replacement WAR, right? That's how they define a power law player, and it's extremely rare that a quarterback or a tight end gets it, which I thought was sort of interesting. That was kind of surprising to me to see.
I'm trying to think of like who could possibly like tight end. Like really, it hasn't been since Kelsey
It's just Kelsey.
until this McBride year.
Yep, and then McBride.
Okay, DFS guy. How does this DFS lineup look? Bryce Young, Gibbs, Swift, Jamar Chase, Olave, Jalen Coker, Dallas Goedert, Omarion Hampton, Titans DST.
Yep, I like that a lot. I prefer the Raiders versus Miami, but I don't know if Titans are way cheaper. I would guess the Titans are way cheaper. But yes, I like that a lot. I think that's great.
Yeah, it's tricky because the salary. Because I don't know how much each player costs, right? But yeah, if you gotta like cheap out on a couple spots, like yeah, Bryce Young seems pretty good.
Gibbs, Swift, yeah. Olave to me, dude, is just a jam. Like while Tyson's out, I think you need to be playing Olave, especially indoors in a dome against the Lions. You have the Gibbs kind of correlation with him. Yeah, I think that's a good roster, man. I personally think Shuck is a very good player, like a very good pocket quarterback. So I'm very comfortable with that click. It's on FanDuel, yeah. Well, it's same deal.
I won't call Shuck a very good player yet, but I think at worst he's like a average quarterback.
Yeah.
At worst he's like a lower tier average quarterback, and he plays with Kellen Moore.
Yep.
I think it's more of like a statement on Kellen Moore, the coach, an offensive mind, than Tyler Shuck, the supreme talent. But I could have egg on my face on that one. Tyler Shuck could come out.
Well, there are a lot of players that aren't special talents, but they're good players, you know? Like, I don't think he's a special talent. I think he's like a good football player. I think he knows how to operate out of the pocket. I think he knows how to get the ball out on time. Seems like he has
at
like
least
a good
has not
feel
been
for
a
the
net
game.
negative.
Yeah. Seems like he has like a good feel for the game, you know? See, like, so this, by the way, is where I would be excited to get Josh Jacobs, like, in redraft. If he starts falling into the 5th round in redraft, like, yeah, I'm much more interested there. Because that, to me,
From
is
all
like,
indications, I don't think you're getting him in the 5th round. I think you got to pay similar price.
I'm also interested in, like, I don't think they're going to roll into the year with Marshawn Lloyd as their starting running back if Jacobs like is missing a huge chunk. So I'm not as interested in Lloyd. Like, I think Sean Tucker could end up going there if he gets cut. So I'm also like not as interested in, like, I don't feel that security that some people have talked about. Like Doobie talked about it in the Discord about, like, we'll just get Marshawn Lloyd and start him in the meantime. I think like James Conner's going there if Jacobs misses like 6 to 8 games. I think Sean Tucker would be a great candidate to go there if Jacobs misses 6 to 8 games. Tyrone Tracy Jr. might be available, right? So like those things weigh pretty heavy on me in terms of how I evaluate that.
Well, he's not getting 6 to 8 games. Like 6 would be the absolute.
All right, we're doing
laying the hammer down, right?
Yeah, we're doing that at pick 57.
Yeah, that's a great price. Yeah, W price.
W price, but man, doesn't feel great.
Why? Why doesn't that feel great? It's just like
I
over
don't
a round
like
past ADP.
because, dude, anyone who has any certainty about what could happen is just, they're just talking shit. Like, you can't have any certainty. It is completely at the discretion of the NFL if they go, you're on the
Well,
commissioner's
I mean,
exempt list here.
you've
You know?
literally said, like, why would you fade like
Yeah,
11 weeks of
yeah,
RB1?
yeah. Well, yeah, yes. I'm just saying it. There is a, albeit distal, there is a possibility he just goes commissioner exempt and we don't get resolution on it for like 8 weeks. They could say like you're commissioner exempt until the trial. We'll revisit it at the trial. I usually alternate between these two, but I have a lot more Marvin Harrison Jr., so we'll go Brian Thomas Jr., especially when I have Trey McBride already. I think for redraft, I'm going to prefer Marvin Harrison because I think his production could be a little bit more steady. But Brian Thomas is just also like such crazy high upside at this price range. I'm happy to make that bet.
Saying Marvin Harrison is going to be more steady is certainly a take.
Yeah, yeah. I feel pretty good, dude, about his like. I think he's going to see healthy volume. Um, yeah. I feel really good about Marvin Harrison Jr. this year.
I think that people are just kind of assuming Brian Thomas Jr. is just going to be a sacrificial X go route guy and like not run any other routes that aren't just a post or a go route.
Yeah, if that's what
I think
you're,
he's a better receiver that.
yeah,
I think he's a better receiver than that.
if that's why you're fading him, that's incorrect.
Well, that's the whole thing, right? We want what is it, the Z in the Liam Cohen offense. We're trying to get Cooper Kupp and Chris Godwin. That's why we're drafting Parker Washington, and Brian Thomas Jr. is actually a dirty, stinky, undraftable player because he's the X.
Yeah,
That's what people are saying.
I certainly don't think he's undraftable. I do think him being the X and Liam Cohen's scheme versus the slot does really matter, and more specifically, Trevor Lawrence's slot role versus the outside receiver does really matter. But I still think like they could have traded Brian Thomas Jr. for like a first round pick plus this summer. Dude, think about like what DJ Moore got right on the open market. So I do think it's like it's just an inaccurate or a silly thing to say like, well, they're just going to stop using him. They're going to fade him out. That's not. There's no way they might have been able to get 2 firsts for him this summer, right? So maybe, I mean, 2 firsts is maybe a little pricey, but like maybe a 1 and a 3 and a 5 or something. So I don't know why they wouldn't. I mean, that's what Waddle got, right? He's worth more than Waddle. He might have been worth a first and a second or even 2 ones. They did not opt to take that compensation for him. So it leads me to believe it's because he's central to how they want to run the offense. But there's still a question, right, of, well, what does central to how they want to run the offense mean? Because Mike Evans was central to how Liam Cohen wanted to run the offense, and Mike Evans became a fringe wide receiver too, while Chris Godwin was the number 2 receiver in all of fantasy. So it's just hard to say. Robert Woods was a top 10 receiver, a top 12 receiver, and then, they shifted to Cooper Kupp, and Robert Woods was like a fringe wide receiver too. So but I believe he's central to their offense for certainly. I don't think he's a non-factor this year. And at this point, it's been discounted. We went from pick 10 to 15 to pick 65 or 75. Like all the risk is baked in. It's all upside. At worst,
hold on. Currently looking at something right now, but keep going.
Yeah. At worst, you're going to get what you paid for.
All right, here we go. Is you keep bringing up the year with Cooper Kupp. So I'm going back to check the 2022 half PPR rankings, which was the season Liam Cohen was the. So Cooper Kupp was number 1 in fantasy points per game. And where is... I mean, Robert Woods was... Oh, well, he was on Tennessee. Robert Woods wasn't even there. Robert Woods wasn't even there when Liam Cohen was the was the OC for the Rams.
Oh, okay.
But Cooper Kupp was the number 1 player in fantasy points per game. He finished... Cooper Cup finished as the wide receiver 24. But I think that this season that was like when he hurt his ankle, I'm
Yeah,
pretty sure, and
I
missed all those
remember
games.
that was the first year that I ever played in a $250 buy-in league, and he was my first round pick. That was the year when I was not good at fantasy then. I was like bumbling around in the dark trying to be a serious fantasy manager and like learn it, and I picked him very early, and I got absolutely shellacked for that thing.
Dude, he fell off a cliff, man. Like I would have been drafting. That's not your fault for
No,
drafting Cooper Cup.
but if you look at his career totals, it's absolutely hilarious because he really just had like 1 year of elite production. It was really just
Yeah.
1 year. He's actually just like a one-hit wonder in a lot of ways, which is very funny. Okay, so we have Jacobs and we have Jaden Reed here. This is a weird start. I don't normally go balance 3-3. I did want to stack Brian Thomas with Trevor Lawrence because I don't draft a lot of Trevor Lawrence on underdog. I'm going to draft a lot of him in redraft, but I don't draft a lot of him on underdog. I don't like that price of quarterback as much. It always feels a little weird because now I'm like 1-1-3-3-1. It's very rare that I'm looking at a build like this through 8 rounds because I don't take the elite tight end that much either. But it'll be kind of interesting. We'll do something kind of fun. I do want love. Do want love with Reed and Jacobs here.
So I'm looking at the Rams wide receiver room in 2022. Are you ready for this murderer's row?
I'm assuming is Allen Robinson in there?
Cooper Cup, Austin Trammell was in there, Jacob Harris,
No.
Lance McCutcheon,
I mean,
Allen Robinson,
okay, hold
Ben
on.
Skoranek, and Van Jefferson.
Hold on. What was the middle name you said?
Here, let me go in order here. Let me go from the top of the list to the bottom.
Because I heard some bangers in there. I don't want to just dismiss them.
It was Cooper Cup,
Yeah.
Allen Robinson when
Yeah.
he was cooked,
Yeah.
Ben Skoranek,
Yeah.
shout out return man Ben Skoranek,
Yeah.
Van Jefferson,
Yep.
longtime Ram,
Super Bowl champion.
Tutu Atwell,
Super Bowl champion as well.
champion as well.
Yep.
Brandon Powell. I don't
I
know
remember
this guy at all.
he was like that weird hybrid guy. I remember Brandon Powell. Okay, so as far as I've heard, you've named a bunch of Super Bowl champions. So by definition, era-defining players. What's the problem? That he played in a room with
Austin Trammell. Austin Trammell's a era-defining player.
So you're saying your problem is he played in a room with too many era-defining players. That's what we're going to hold against him. Just too many guys.
No. If anything, I just think it makes the argument of the Liam Collins slot receiver even stronger.
Yeah.
These other guys looked unplayable compared to Cooper Cup.
No.
We're gonna find out about this Jaguars team. I think it's on the board that Trevor just stinks. Like, I was looking at the contract while you were kind of going on that tangent.
Mm-hmm.
I was looking at how many years Trevor has left on his deal, and if the Jaguars can get out of that if he stinks.
Mm-hmm.
They are locked up through 2030.
Yep.
They are married to that, which, I mean, could be great. Could be a good deal.
Yep. I think him and Liam are going to be very productive for years to come. Vegas doesn't, by the way. Vegas does not have them as like a high point total team this year.
I tend to think that if Trevor has a good season, it's far more on Liam Cohen being an evil genius than Trevor breaking out and being some force multiplier.
Do you mean for fantasy or for football?
Both.
Well, for fantasy, it's also that he's the third leading scorer from rushing attempts in the red zone behind Jalen Hurts and Josh Allen. So, like, he has some, like, standalone, just, like, he likes to run in the red zone. Now, by the way, when I say that, I think he has 16 touchdowns since 2024 to Jalen Hurts' 37 and Josh Allen's 39. So when I say
he was money from the 1 yard line. He has a really good sneak. Yeah,
but I'm saying I don't want to like bullshit. When I say he's the third leading scorer from the red zone, it's like Jalen Hurts and Josh Allen, then a chasm, and then he's there. So it's not like he is a Jalen Hurts or Josh Allen level rusher in the red zone. He is, though, however, third in quarterback fantasy points from the red zone from rushing. He likes to run in the red zone. So that, I mean, irrespective of...
He likes to do the quarterback sneak.
Yeah.
Like, he is just a good quarterback sneak guy because of his size.
Yeah.
And, like, there are certain guys that are just good at that play.
Yep.
Like, Tom Brady was one of the best quarterback sneak guys. That's a skill that Trevor has.
Jimmy Garoppolo is one of the best sneakers ever, one of the highest success rate QB sneakers ever. Yeah, so like that I think gives him standalone value. But yes, I think obviously what you're saying is just objectively correct, right? It's a Liam Cohen thing. It's about how much you trust Trevor Lawrence and the Jags is how much you trust Liam Cohen, because I don't think Trevor, I mean, we kind of saw what he looks like when he has to sink or swim on his own, right? It's not the best product. But I also think sometimes you do get, we'll do a little Jalen Coker here if Debo and Dobbs are gone. I think sometimes you do get these situations where a player that we thought was a special talent and probably does have like some things about him that are special talents, whether or not he's the guy, he was built as the next Peyton Manning. I think we can pretty much dispense with that notion. But I still think as far as physical talent goes, he's a pretty special, like size, the speed, the arm strength. And maybe all it took was finding the right play caller to unlock that in him. I to me it looked like right around week 5 or 6 he took to the system in a big way. And then what it looked like beyond that was when they started featuring Parker Washington, all of a sudden the EPA per play went through the roof. It seems like they found a role within that system for a guy that was really healthy. Um, I'll go bully tight end here. Do an Isaiah Likely to follow up Trey McBride. Just go nice and beefy. I was gonna go wide receiver, but there was a run on every guy that I wanted here, and if Shaheed goes, that's like every other guy I wanted. Maybe I should have waited because I could have taken a tight end later. Um, what are we gonna be at? 134. That's a little early. What is QB looking like? Tyler Shuck getting pushback's pretty cheap, but I don't have any Shuck stacks. We're at the point where we're just gonna hope Shaheed holds.
Just looking at doing some numbers crunching here. He's played. So Trevor has played 77 games in his career and has 58 picks.
Mm-hmm.
His interception, 2.2 of his passes are just picked off, which is a really bad number. That's not a good number at all. And yeah, like last year he did finally. Well, I guess he has 4,000 yard seasons. That's pretty impressive. So like his yardage wasn't significantly different, or significantly better than any of the previous years. His completion percentage, he is at 60.9%, which is like pretty much the same as the prior year without Liam Cohen. So to me, it looks like the big difference is just that rushing, right? The rushing and the quarterback sneaks he was getting for fantasy points. Otherwise, like it seems like all other things like kind of equal. Like he's been like a similar player, at least from a passing standpoint.
Yeah, I think if you're box score watching, like strictly box score watching, I think maybe. I would have to look, dude. I haven't actually like to me this is more like what I saw, like off the top of my head. I didn't really like do a statistical dive on this. It's very like narrative driven and like my subjective take on what I was watching last year, which is always nervous when you do that. Like it feels really good when you can confirm yourself with like, oh, there's this analytic and there's this one and look at this stat line and that one. That wasn't really what this was for me. Like my biggest argument, weak as it may be, is like I think I know what I saw there, and I'm going to trust my gut on that, and that can certainly go very south. Let me see though if I can find some. I am curious about something.
Do you remember the Monday night game against the Chiefs? It was like the game-winning touchdown where he fell down like a cartoon character and ran it in.
Yep. Chris Jones stopped rushing.
Also got sacked 41 times last year.
Yep.
He got killed.
Okay, let's see what it does with this. Okay, I'd like more wide receivers here. I'm happily ignoring running back for a while. Trey Tucker would be another. I'll do it again here if I can. There goes Trey Tucker. I'll do Jalen Naylor maybe. could do like a Tank Bigsby, really big swing here this late. Travis Hunter has not taken a snap on offense in 2 weeks. When you have not taken a snap on offense in 2 weeks in best ball, you're a pretty easy avoid for me. Jacoby Lane is shot way up. I mean, that's sort of like an interesting one to pick. I'll go Dun. No, we're gonna go Naylor. I feel so weird like taking these guys, even though it wasn't in this tournament. It doesn't really affect this tournament. I was getting Jacoby Lane and Dontavian Wicks in round 18. I think I have price memory with that, where I find that offensive now. That also opens up a potential Mendoza stack if we want to go for one really late there.
Jameis Winston features one of the highest career interception rates among regular starters, hovering around 3.4%.
Oh, yeah.
Shout out Jameis.
Oh, yeah, dude. Jameis goes hard with that stuff, man.
Dude, there is a very real possibility we get some Jameis starts this year, which is my favorite time of the fantasy year, when we get to do Jameis shows.
Yeah. Yep, it seems like we're heading that way, huh? Kind of want to wait on running back because I don't really care who they are. Travis Hunter with Trevor Lawrence probably makes sense, I guess. Trey Harris has been trending up all summer. Remember you like walked in on me looking at we'll do on Dontavian Wicks. I haven't taken him in a while. Remember when you discovered me looking at my Trey Harris scouting reports? You thought that was the funniest thing ever, which it is funny, but I was actually doing that.
I'm not a Trey Harris guy this year.
Yeah, I don't think for redraft. I'm seeing people say you should take him in redraft. Absolutely not.
All right, pop quiz, Yanni. What? Who do you think has the second highest interception rate from the quarterback position
in the NFL?
In the current NFL? Yeah, currently, not like retired players.
I guess Zach Wilson.
No, it's
really?
Not Zach Wilson.
Really?
I'll give you a hint. The last 2 years have been really good to him.
The last 2 years have been really good to him. Baker? No, not Baker. He's been bad though last year. No, I don't know who was it?
Sam Darnold.
Oh God. Oh.
2.9%.
Yeah,
he's tied with Geno at 2.9. Both of the old Seahawks guys, 2.9%.
Come on.
Then we got Mac Jones next at 2.7. Andy Dalton, Marcus Mariota. Baker's up there too at 2.6. Josh Allen, 2.3. Then Trevor, 2.2.
Yeah, Josh Allen's 2.3 is because he's asked to carry an entire franchise on his shoulders. Those don't count.
He has so many arm punts, dude.
Yeah,
fourth down arm punt.
Yeah, dude. No, that those aren't real interceptions. That's interesting though. That's interesting. And I didn't know Mac is that high. I mean, Mac does that too, though, right? Like Mac likes to air out the ball.
Yeah, Mac will push it down the field.
Cannot believe. I mean, I guess they're just waiting for him to be a free agent. I can't believe no one offered like a decent draft pick for Mac Jones this year. There are so many teams that he's objectively better than anything they're rolling out. I thought,
can you imagine Mac Jones in Atlanta?
Oh my God,
he's so much better,
dude. Even in Cleveland, like with the weapons they have in Cleveland, if you put Mac Jones there to be like a point guard, they would be like an effective, competent offense. I don't know what the fuck they were doing. Okay, so at this point, what are we looking at? 26 picks behind ADP after he's already fallen 20 or 30 picks. I'll do a Travis Hunter with Trevor Lawrence as my wide receiver 8. I think
it's fine with Trevor.
I don't know if it goes anywhere. I don't think it does. I think you're like hoping for 25 catches this year, maybe. I don't know why Danny Ladd took him at the 9-10 turn.
This Danny Ladd is a slappy that's out of his mind.
Yeah, a little bit, man. Okay.
One of the things Avery said about him, he goes, this is like when Danny Ladd likes a player, he is the greatest player in the world, the greatest player that's ever existed.
Yeah. again, like I think it's okay to do that if you are consistently sharper than your league and you are getting ahead of things and it's leading to good results. Like, yeah, you should trust that instinct. If you are constantly in last place and you're getting your chest waxed on live stream while you're pounding pancakes in a Waffle House, like, dude, at some point, like when you're the Winston or what, a Preston, when you're the Preston of the group, and like they've decided you can hang out with them as long as they're allowed to relentlessly bully you, you would think that you would stop and be like, huh,
Oh
what I
man,
mean?
it's just bad luck. It's just bad luck, dude.
Yeah,
You don't
like,
understand.
yeah, like the nostalgianomics thing about that is the battle cry of the absolute loser is you just got lucky, you just got lucky, and like, well, yeah, it's like no, at some point, dude, after a long enough run, you would think Danny would reevaluate his process a little bit. It's never comfortable to be like, I suck and I need to reevaluate things, but it's the only way you can actually be good at what you're doing. And I don't think he's willing to do that. Okay, do a Braylon Allen here. Like I don't know, it's just part of it. I wouldn't even say I'm like happy with this team. Nothing interesting's going on with it. I guess it's fine. Trey McBride, Isaiah Likely. I have the Travis Hunter and Brian Thomas stacks with Trevor. Jordan Love is technically stacked with Josh Jacobs. I mean, he'll catch like 15, 20 passes. Jaden Reed stack. Nothing that interesting. Nothing that interesting. Just a slow whimper to go out to end our puppy drafting summer, unfortunately, in a quiet office that I hope I haven't been too loud in. Actually, God, I haven't even been thinking about that.
It's fine, man. The women that share the office with you can survive, I think, if they hear your voice.
I can't say why that is a controversial thing to say, but they're a little persnickety, as my dad would say, a little persnickety about things sometimes.
Well, that's tough. You're a co-owner of the
Yeah,
office.
I know. Hey man, I replenished the I because I just moved down, so I have like all my stuff in my car. I replenished the paper towel rack all on my own. I ate that. What was my Costco paper towel roll? That was like $1 I ate for the good of this community, this the business establishment. I put into it.
That's called being a good tenant.
It is. It is. You should do that shit. You should not sit there and use towels without replacing. It drives me crazy. What are we thinking about Tank Dell? We chilling on Tank Dell? Sound like it's not going great?
I mean, we haven't really heard anything else, right? The last I heard is
He can't complete
D'Amico
a
Ryan
full.
said he's working back at his own speed.
Yeah, he can't complete a full practice yet. They tried to ramp him up a couple times and he just couldn't do it. Is what they said.
Yeah.
So like, what do you do
Well,
with that? Like, I don't really know what you do with that. You just kind of go, doesn't sound great.
yeah, he might be like a next year player or a never player.
Nope.
Like we talk about, this could potentially be a career-ending injury, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like we said that about Ricky Pearsall.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think Ricky Pearsall's career is about to end from his surgery that he just had.
Mm-hmm.
Tank Dell like legitimately had an injury that I think could ruin or end a career.
Yeah. Yep.
Let's see. Yeah, ESPN is a dog shit resource. We have 21 days ago. Texas Dell going for it after injury absence. Okay, thank you for the news update that is totally relevant and what I'm looking for. You see. Dude, I had 22% Tank Dell. It's probably a responsible amount.
Yeah, a little bit.
All right. Latest Tank Dell tweets.
I think Debro said that they've tried to ramp him up a couple times and he just can't push over the hump.
Oh man, the fact that you said it's Debro now makes me a little bit more hopeful.
I think that is from him.
I can't really see anything here. Someone says Tank Dell is 140 pounds. I don't believe you.
No. No, he's certainly not 140 pounds.
If you just want to, because I can't find anything else, but if you want to, make assumptions, right? Like, I think bringing Keishon Boutte in is probably a pretty good indication that he's not going to be ready. It is going to take him a little bit. Like, I think our best case for Tank Dell is maybe he comes back halfway through the season, but what do you get when you like? What is that worth halfway
Yeah.
through the season? I would assume he maybe works in and runs a couple routes. Like, I don't think he's going to be a meaningful fantasy contributor this season.
Yeah, like
Would be my guess.
even in redraft, you don't think you'll mess around with like a little late round tank Dell, see what happens. I don't think I am.
I'd
I'm
rather
not. I'm
I'd
not
rather
leading
just
you.
pick him up on waivers. Like, there's no reason to draft that player. He'll just be
No.
on waivers.
Yeah, or like throw him on your IR. Just see.
I'd rather I'd rather get like a Jordan Tyson on
Yeah.
IR or a Zach Charbonnet on
Well,
IR. Like,
well,
dude,
yeah, yeah, of
I'm
course.
routinely getting Jordan Tyson in the 11th and 12th round
Yeah,
of
I
these
don't.
Yahoo mocks. Like,
Yeah,
guys are pulling up Stribling to the 7-1, and they're
yeah,
just leaving Jordan Tyson there. So, like,
yeah.
to me, what I've been doing in those mocks, I've just been taking Jordan Tyson and not drafting a kicker. You just get an extra roster spot.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see where he goes in our drafts tomorrow. Okay, so here's the team: Trevor Lawrence, Jordan Love, James Cook, Derrick Henry, Josh Jacobs, Braylon Allen, Seth McGowan, Garrett Wilson, Brian Thomas, Jaden Reed, Wandale, Shaheed, Naylor, Wicks, Hunter, Noel, Trey McBride, Isaiah Likely. Okay, I mean that's really not a robust stream for today. This was just to clear out the last $10 in the old underdog. I don't know if I'm gonna reload it or not. Like we're basically in redraft for the next 2 weeks. Like that's gonna be a lot of streaming on the weekends. That's sort of what I had in mind for the content this week. Maybe we can just do like some standalone videos, do some flag plants or something. I don't know. I'll talk it over with Ted. We will see what we want to do. Thank you for those of you who stopped by. Thank you for liking and subscribing if you feel like it. Ted, is there anything you want to sign off with before we go?
If you do subscribe to the channel, there's a little bell next to the subscribe button. If you click that, your phone will tell you anytime we go live or drop a video.
Yeah.
So, you won't miss content. And feel free to join the Discord in the description.
Yep. Thanks, guys. We will be back. I mean, I'll be back tomorrow all day.